David Birch, thank you. Welcome at the Blockchain Innovation Conference. You were here last year.
Yeah.
What's the story going to be today? What are you going to tell the people?
Well, I think one of the big things that changed since last year, of course, is the rise of tokens and ICOs. And a lot of people think this stuff is crazy and it's full of scams and criminals and everyone's going to go to jail. Which actually is largely true. But I want people to understand that tokens are a new way of doing business.
Yeah.
They're here to stay.
Yeah.
And
you had the IPO and now you have the ICO.
Yeah. And regulated token markets are going to be big financial services markets in the future. But that has implications for the underlying ledgers and cryptocurrencies. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to make a few suggestions as to whom, because I'm specifically talking about tokens for money.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a few suggestions as to who might issue those in the future. And I hope the audience will be a little surprised by one of my conclusions.
Yeah.
But I think I can make people think about these things in a different way. So we'll see.
Yeah, but because there's a lot of anxiety in the market about ICOs becoming scams, so there needs to be more regulation about that.
We shouldn't be nervous about it.
No.
Regulating those markets is a good thing, and when those markets become regulated, the size of the token market is going to explode. People might even be underestimating how big that market will be.
I already saw a slide that it's even bigger now than the regular venture capital that's been put in the market right now. It's already huge. Well, let me show it. I cannot show it to the viewers, but I just had this picture made. It's about ICOs have exceeded venture. Oh, it's another one.
Oh,
have exceeded
cryptocurrency startup.
Yeah, in crypto and blockchain.
That's in blockchain. Yes.
Yeah, that's in blockchain.
Of course.
Overall, no, of course.
So you're right.
Yeah.
So it's growing. But when it's a regulated market, when it's organized properly, imagine how much bigger that market's going to be, because there are lots of people you would regard as mainstream financial organizations, who are very attracted to the idea of token-based markets that have no clearing and settlement, markets that have a certain kind of transparency to them, a certain efficiency, a certain security. So for people who you would not think of as crypto-crazy people, the idea of this new kind of financial instrument as a mechanism for trading is very attractive.
It's also attractive for people who don't have a large purse. They only have a couple of £100, dollars, and they can buy some tokens instead of being big shareholders to make a profit. It's going to be interesting for a lot more people, I think.
Well, that's true, but I don't think those small retail investors are what's going to create this giant market. It's institutional money that will create the giant market.
I saw some footage with Vincent. You were talking about this event, and you were talking about blockchain and the religion. It's too much of a religion now.
Well, I still think that's true. I think you see lots of crazy stuff talked about the blockchain, and people are projecting.
It's going to change the world.
But people can't explain why, because they're projecting very magical thinking onto it. So, when they're talking about tracking sustainable food across how is the blockchain going to know whether there's horse meat in my burgers or not? The blockchain isn't this magic thing that knows everything, you know? And that's odd, because people don't talk about AI, the cloud, Internet of Things. They don't talk about those other technologies in that same crazy way. There is definitely something unusual about Bitcoin.
You used the word, it's not fintech, it's regtech in the interview. It's about regulation. You can regulate a market easier. It's an asset.
Well, he was asking me about where the blockchain will make an impact on markets. And I think in many ways, seeing blockchain as a regtech, as a market infrastructure, as a way of changing the cost-benefit analysis around the market as a whole, is much more interesting than seeing blockchain as a fintech for a particular company. CryptoKitties is fun. It's a fintech, but having financial markets which are better regulated, more transparent, that's good for everybody. That reduces the cost of the market to society as a whole. So this is why I think the impact of the blockchain might be more as a reg tech. These environments of what we call ambient accountability are a different way of constructing financial markets.
Well, a question about your book.
Sure.
You're gonna show it to the public, I think, in a few hours from now.
Yes, so my book, Before Babylon, Beyond Bitcoin, available at all good bookshops, came out last year. Things have changed so quickly in this space. I'm actually working on a revised paperback edition of the book right now to include some of these changes. But in the book,
and when you're saying things have changed, are you talking about the last 20 years, the last 30 years, or?
No. I mean the last 6 months.
The last 6 months.
So
that's really cool.
I'm going to update it. But the sort of point about the book is, well, I hopefully the book helps people to think about money and understand money a little better in this space. But also I make the point that the way money works now is not a law of physics. It's a set of institutional arrangements that we happen to have now.
Yeah.
Money didn't used to work this way, and it won't work this way in the future. So it's interesting to begin to speculate, well, if it's not going to work like this, how will it work?
Yeah.
And I don't know, of course, any more than anybody else does. But I've made some, I like to think of as educated guesses, which people can enjoy and agree or disagree with.
There are going to be different values. Oh, not only the money, but...
Well, my feeling is the democratization of money creation leads to lots of different kinds of monies. And which of those monies will be successful, I don't know. But one realistic possibility is that people will choose money that shares their values, that reflects the values of their communities. And people exist in the modern world in many different communities at the same time. So if I was going to choose money for the long term, I might choose money that was sustainable, for example. Or if I was to choose money to express myself in some way, I might choose the money of my football team or whatever. But I think one kind of community that has a special role in the future is the city. And if you read economic works, economic forecasts, World Economic Forum and so on, they talk about the rising economic importance of cities.
Yes, because everybody's living in cities nowadays.
Yes, and that trend continues in the future.
You're going to have big major cities who have a very big economic value.
You're absolutely correct. And so I wonder if perhaps cities will become more of a centre for different kinds of money rather than countries. Because you do have to ask yourself, many people here would say it's crazy to have the euro because Germany and Greece have different economies. That's very true. But that's also true about the north and south of Belgium.
Yes,
it's
definitely
true about the north and south of Italy. Yes. It's true about the north and south of England. You know, why do they have one money? Well, there's historical reasons and the 18th century rise of the nation state and blah, blah, blah. Will that last forever? I don't see any reason why.
Last question. Do you believe in cryptocurrency? Is it going to sustain? It's here to stay?
Well, it's here to stay, obviously, but its main function, in my opinion, will be powering token networks. And if that's true, other people have different opinions, but if it's true, it means that the cryptocurrencies we have now are not optimal.
No.
And so they're very much the sort of 1.0, and we're waiting for the next generation of shared ledgers to emerge. And they might work in slightly different ways because their main role will be powering token networks rather than as mechanism of exchange themselves.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you for the questions.
Thanks for the interview.